Tecovas is the go-to for premium, handcrafted Western boots. Stop by any store location for a warm welcome, a cold drink in hand, and a truly one-of-a-kind shopping experience. Let our friendly staff help you find your new go-to boots, whether your first pair or your 50th. Finish things off with a complimentary boot brand to make them extra special. Come for the boots, stay for the good times. Tecovas, forever West.
Live from the back of Ruth the Realtor's car, it's the Stacking Deed Show. I'm Ruth's neighbor and part-time mechanic, Neighbor Doug, bringing you a sweet and mindful episode about all things real estate. Today is July 11th, otherwise known as Free Slurpee Day for those of you who are fans of the 7-Eleven convenience store chain. Hey, I'm a fan of free stuff, so count me in for two. We have Jedi Mindset Master and author Jason Drees joining the car ride today. He helps real estate investors reach success faster by reprogramming their thinking to help them lead a happier and more fruitful life. Hey, I'll have two of those as well. And in our Property Pop quiz, we have big gulp-sized, brain-freezing trivia for you that you don't want to miss. But now, it's time to hear from our two favorite summer catches, Crystal Hammond and Alan Corey.
Well, thank you, Doug. Happy Slurpee Day to you, Crystal.
Yeah, happy Slurpee Day to all who celebrate. I didn't even realize that was, well, of course that's a thing. 7-Eleven is huge.
It's a thing because my kids tell me it's a thing. So on the news, they just changed the Slurpee logo, and I thought I knew what it looked like, but yeah, it's different. But I gotta say, it reminds me of the poop emoji a little bit.
Oh gosh, now I can't unsee that. Thanks a lot. It does. I was gonna say 70s vibe.
Yeah,
The
it's the
poop emoji.
70s. It's got the little swirl S, but
Oh,
I don't know. I don't find it appetizing, but maybe that's
no.
what my diet needs. So I'm here for it. I can avoid those Slurpees.
Well, welcome everybody. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're tuning in for another episode. I'm Crystal Hammond, aka Condo Crystal on the Twitter streets. And sitting next to me, I have Alan Corey.
Hey, and I'm Real Estate Maxi. Yeah, we're on the same Twitter street, Crystal. We have a fun episode today. I'm excited. We've got Jason Drees, mindset coach, alignment. He's not even a real estate investor, but he helps real estate investors. So I'm looking forward to that.
I hear he's the Tony Robbins of real estate. I'm not going to call it mind control, but I do like to start with the mind. That helps a lot.
Yeah, we'll dig into that in a bit, but let's talk about our headlines.
Hello, chaps. And now our Stacking Deeds headlines. Cheerio and pip pip.
What have you found for us today, Crystal?
This article comes to us from Aceable, and they're talking about how the summer season affects the housing market. So they're saying that there's more homes to sell, homes sell faster, more homes are available, prices spikes. What makes the summer real estate market so special is that it's the best time for families with kids to move because, school's out for the summer. Why not take advantage of that extra time to put your kids to work and help them pack up for a move? Do you agree with this or disagree with this, Alan? What are you seeing?
Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, the summer is a frenzy, there's bidding wars, and should I wait? And my answer is always the same. Most people are moving because of the schools. Like school's out, that's easier. We don't want to disrupt the children. That makes complete sense. So more people are listing their homes for sale, but also there's more people looking to buy. So if you want to wait until school is in session, there's fewer buyers, fewer competition. However, there's fewer listings. So you don't have as much to pick from. So that's why you don't get that froth, that frenzy, those bidding wars. But you might not like the properties that are on the market off season because there's just not as many to look at and pick from.
So then how would I capitalize on the summer real estate market as an investor?
To me, I would look at properties that have been on the market for at least 10 days because the good ones, the move-in ready ones, the ones that are in a good school district, those are going to be snapped up under contract quickly. What I'm seeing is anything that sits on the market for 10 days, a price drop is due. and you can get ahead of that price drop and or avoid multiple offer situation, which obviously makes the price go higher and higher. So I would just relax and wait. And I always recommend don't buy in a good school district because a good school district has that frenzy. A 10 out of 10 school district, it'll either remain a 10 out of 10 or it'll go down to a 9 or an 8, which obviously will affect property values. I like to invest in those 6 school districts, maybe a 7, because it has an opportunity to go up to an 8 or 9. And that's where you get your real value and you get those homes at a discount. And tenants, a lot of times they don't have kids. So why pay a premium for a school district that maybe your tenants aren't going to appreciate?
I like that you said you like to buy properties at a discount because speaking of discounts, this other article from Bankrate, they actually list their 2023 summer housing market predictions. And one of their key takeaways is about interest rates. Experts think that mortgage rates will level off or drop more consistently, which is going to increase affordability for buyers. I'm thinking this is going to bring more buyers and more competition to the market also. Is that right?
Yeah, of course, interest rates affect home prices. I don't recommend waiting for interest rates because then you're also creating more of that bidding situation. If you buy a property now with an interest rate you don't like, let's say it's a 7% interest rate, you don't like that. Crystal, you and I have both talked before. Our first
Yeah.
properties were 7.5% interest
Yep.
rate. So that was completely normal to us when we started buying. You've got 3 options. You buy a property now, you lock in at 7. If it's cash flowing, meaning that you can rent it out and it covers the mortgage at a 7% rate, 3 things are going to happen to the future. Either interest rates stay the same, which is fine. Good thing you bought a property and started collecting that cash flow now, right? Or interest rates go up and then you look really smart, like a genius. Like, good thing I bought when interest rates were 7 and not now when they're 8 or 9. And so you can just sort of keep collecting that cash flow. Or best case scenario, interest rates go down. And when interest rates go down, that makes your property value go up. You have an opportunity to refinance and lower your mortgage payment. And then your cash flow increases while the equity of your home increases at the same time. So that is the best case situation. You really want to buy investment properties when interest rates are high just for that reason.
I love it. See, we always preach no matter what the interest rate is, you should buy. And now Alan just broke down the 3 best case scenarios of interest rate. So that protects you no matter where you are on the interest rate market. And it is most likely that interest rates are about to start going possibly down or I'm not going to say skid marks after saying the poop emoji, but it's like they put the brakes on raising interest rates right now. So like we say, don't wait for a perfect interest rate to buy because every season has its nuances. Make sure you know what's happening, what's going on in the season that you're looking to buy or sell. All of these articles will be in our show notes. So make sure you head to stackingdeeds.net/show notes to get the show notes hand delivered to your inbox weekly. And now Doug has some trivia for us.
Hey there, Deeters. I'm Ruth's Fetch It Boy and certified Slurpee supplier, Neighbor Doug. Today's question is all about huge franchises. In 2007, 7-Eleven surpassed McDonald's and has outgrown them by 20,000 stores. It's also said that they are still growing with a brand new store opening somewhere in the world every 2 hours. Which leads us to today's trivia question. Approximately how many 7-Eleven stores are there worldwide? Is it 100,000, 70,000, 50,000, or 25,000? I'll be back right after I have Ruth stop at 7-Eleven so I can purchase some Tic Tacs. I hear they're mint condition. Hey there, Deeters. Thanks to my 7-Eleven micro mini shopping spree, I'm freshly minted and Vicks Vapo Rub vented Neighbor Doug. Here's today's trivia question. Approximately how many 7-Eleven stores are there worldwide? Is it 100,000, 70,000, 50,000, or 25,000? If you guessed 50,000, you're incorrect because the answer is 70,000. I bet Ronnie McDonnie didn't see that coming. Well, now it's time to get ready for a money mindset reset with our guest, Jason Drees.
I'm excited that we're about to pick up Jason Drees, Crystal. He is a mindset coach. He doesn't just work with real estate investors, but he has attracted a lot of real estate investors to his way of thinking, his alignment. We're going to talk, and I can't wait to ask him some questions about that and what our listeners can do right now, listening in their car, at home, or at the gym, how they can change their mind quickly to better set them up for success. So I'm really excited, and I see him right there.
Let me move over so we have some room for Jason.
Hey, Jason, come on in.
Hey, Alan. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for the ride.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you getting in. I know you're very, very, very big proponent of mindset when it comes to pretty much all decisions, but especially real estate. What's so important about mindset?
Well, I do have to say this 85 Lincoln Town Car does remind me of my 1981 Lincoln Versailles with red leather interior that my dad bought for me with my money that I didn't want. So power steering cranked, but anyway, so what was the question? Real estate?
No, I get lost in nostalgia every time I'm in here. I had a 1980 minivan with wood paneling on the sides, and to make it cool in high school, I put bullhorns on the front, which I then renamed it John Claude Minivan Dam.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, my question was, why is mindset so important when it comes to real estate investing?
Well, mindset is important because mindset creates your reality. Everything you do, every action you take, or any action you can think of taking comes from your mind. The more open your mind is, the more things you're going to see. And the challenge we have with mindset is that our mindset isn't designed to be open. Our mindset by nature is designed to keep us alive. Right. So your brain is like cataloging everything that goes into it forever. I've been on the planet almost 5 decades now, and it's got 5 decades worth of stuff in there. So every step I take forward, it's comparing the next step to everything I did before. So mindset determines what you see, what you don't see, what you do, what you don't do. So many people get stuck on strategy, but like mindset is the key to changing everything. That's why it's important.
I sort of like that your mindset is like perseverant, or to just stay alive. So if you've been burned by, a real estate deal in the past, you've conditioned yourself to be scared of real estate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Like our brain, when we have experiences in our past, positive or negative, those experiences create beliefs. Those beliefs then become our containers that we live in. They're literally like the limitation. Like if it's a positive belief, it will empower you. If it's a limiting belief, it'll hold you back.
So how do we change our beliefs?
Well, you change your beliefs. There's a lot of different ways to change beliefs. You can do repeat after me statements. Some people tap their face. Some people go to events and walk on fire. I do frame shifting. There's lots of different ways to change beliefs, but the simplest way to change your beliefs is to take ownership of them.
So that self-inflection that says, this is limiting me, how do you even get to that point of self-awareness where you're saying, I'm thinking the wrong thoughts?
Well, you can feel it, right? So I like to refer to it as alignment. So if you have a new deal, a new opportunity you're aimed at, if you're feeling positive emotions, you're in alignment. If you're feeling negative emotions, you're out of alignment. The alignment is basically created from your beliefs about that situation and then all the other beliefs about the process of that situation.
Is this the recession-proof mindset that you have referred to before online?
Yes. It's building the mindset of success, and whether it's recession-proof or unstoppable or you can always win. It's, the challenge we have with mindset is that it's kind of hard to describe, and most people don't know what it is, right? Because think of the simple way to think about mindset is the point of view, right? And it's hard for me to look outside my point of view. It's hard for you, Alan, to look outside your point of view. So we end up stuck in our point of view that we don't know is limited, right? And in some areas it's not limited, in some areas that it is. But usually where we struggle, it's because our mindset or our point of view is not seeing all the options there, because in our past we had experiences that don't make that possible.
Is the flavor of this fake it till you make it?
Kind of, yeah.
You really preach that anything is possible.
Absolutely.
That's the name of your book, I believe, right?
Yeah, do the impossible. Yep.
What I get from that, at least just from the title, is if you don't believe you can do the impossible, well, then you're right. But if you believe that you can do the impossible, then you're right. Is that
100% true, right? We live in an attraction-based universe. Like attracts like. Like, remember 7th grade science, two particles and forces unaffected by outside forces will be attracted to each other. So there is this law of attraction thing. So the only thing that has to happen is when you get into alignment with something, the strategy will then show up. so you can start taking action. And so if you can align yourself with any target, you can hit any target. But most people don't start in alignment, they start in action. They start in strategy. And because they don't know the strategy, they think they can't hit it.
Let's walk through that. And let's give this a real estate lens. So
Yeah.
when you say strategy, are you talking, hey, I want to do short-term rentals, and they just focus on short-term rentals, but what's the step that they're skipping, you're saying?
Well, for example, if you have like a new real estate investor and they're like, I'm going to get into real estate, and I'm okay, I'll look at STRs or I can look at flips or whatever. And they like, okay. And they've got the book here on how to do it, but actually applying it is a different thing. And what they're going for is looking for a strategy that works. And most real estate investors are trying to mitigate risk at the same time. And they're trying to create a strategy that doesn't have risk. So, and a lot of times when they cannot out-calculate the risk, they don't take action and they stay in the same place, right?
So you're saying take the risk, or if you have the right alignment, this risk is not going to be a deal breaker. You're going to be creative and find ways to overcome this risk.
In the situation of a new real estate investor starting a new deal, trying to calculate the risk, I suggest a lot of times they'll try to plan and they'll sit on the sideline, right? Because they're like, they don't want to get in the game because they don't want to lose. But the thing is, you have to understand that investing is a risk. There's risk involved. So you should calculate to the best of your ability your risk tolerance and calculate that in so to see, because you can't guarantee success in real estate.
Right.
In a deal.
But I agree. And you've got to have that self-belief that, any investment's going to have risk, but believe in yourself that you'll find a way to mitigate that risk and make this a successful investment.
And it's more like you can't guarantee that this deal will be successful, but you can guarantee that you will be successful, right? Because you can make a decision that I'm not going to stop until I become successful.
I love that. And I also had the mindset when I started in real estate investing that, hey, this is my only $10,000 I have. I'm going to put it in a property. If I lose $10,000, I got a $10,000 education. So if I quit on myself and I don't buy real estate again, I've wasted that $10,000 education. And I've learned so much that the next house that I buy will be profitable. And that's how I sort of Jedi mind tricked myself to keep taking those risks. It's like, hey, it's a bet on myself, if not just a bet on real estate.
Yeah, exactly. Because believing it or making a decision to believe it creates an aligned frame at the global level, and that creates alignment. So when you're in alignment, then the target will happen. A lot of times we're operating with doubt, taking action with doubt, trying to create certainty along the way. Success will never happen until you believe it. So it's almost like believing you can is the most important and often the most difficult part of the process.
Now, your business seems to be heavily focused on real estate investors because one of your first or early clients is Brandon Turner, a very successful person in the space, former co-host of the Bigger Pockets podcast. And he would talk very highly of you and your program. Do you find that someone that successful has the same issues as a new real estate investor, or do they graduate and there are different worries and different alignments that need to be made?
Well, there's still the process of alignment, knowing what to do, not knowing what to do, trying to pick the right, that never changes. The subject of the coaching changes typically. So it's focused in a different part of the process than someone who's usually newer.
I guess that makes sense to me because as a newbie, I have different worries and concerns. And once I sort of get involved in real estate investing, those are easy problems. I've dealt with them before. They're no longer worries. Then, you're growing a portfolio. You're buying a bigger property. I've gone through this. Oh, this is my first time buying a commercial property. What do I do? This is my first time partnering. What do I do? I completely get that you're growing as an investor. And so obviously your problems shift along with it.
Yeah. At the beginning phases of especially financial success and investing success, a lot of the coaching and a lot of the work is around getting into the mindset and belief that you can create it. Not just that you can create it, that you will create it. Right. So there's generally more doubt around action in the earlier phases. When I'm coaching higher level people that are making, 7 figures and above, the problems at that level are usually breaking free from their conditioning, their mental conditioning on what they think success is, following their intuition, and then often shifting into directions they're not thinking of. That's kind of where the coaching style kind of shifts.
And you've mentioned before that the number one indication of a limited and misaligned mindset is financial scarcity. Can you give us a little bit insight on that?
The indicator of misalignment is negative emotion, right?
Okay.
Financial scarcity is operating from a scarcity-based point of view about money. And most of us are raised in a scarcity-based point of view. Like culturally we are, right? We're conditioned that money's expensive and you can't buy that and you got to save it for a rainy day, right? But the mere belief of saving it for a rainy day is the belief that your money's going to run out someday. Instead of operating from the mindset of I'm always going to make more, or even if it runs out, it'll come in. Developing a strong financial mindset is kind of a process of unwinding how you grew up, because the vast majority of the population did not grow up with a financially healthy mindset, right? Unless their parents were really wealthy. So it's the process of unwinding that and shifting it into alignment with what you want. But really, the financial scarcity is really an indicator that you have access to more money. That's really what it is.
I've lived this. I grew up with very money conscious parents. We didn't have a lot. They're both public school teachers.
Yeah.
My first book, the subtitle is How to Overcome Stingy Parents to, Become a Millionaire Before 30. That was what all I focused on was how do I reduce expenses? How do I save money? How do
Yeah.
I was spending, hours to save $20 on something, researching the right coupon, going across town to where it's cheaper. And it wasn't until I had money and I felt financially secure that I realized, wow, if I would have just focused all that energy and all that time on making more money, I probably would have made $100 in that 6 hours of research that I saved $20 on 6 hours of research. And that flipped a switch in me where it was like, oh, don't focus on not having money, put a focus on making more money. And that grew my wealth tremendously.
Yeah. Because your focus creates your reality. So you're going to see what you're expecting to see. The real challenge that we're all going through right now is holding ourselves in alignment with what we want while we presently don't have it. That's one of the challenges that we're all learning right now, because basically, we wake up, look at our reality, look at our life, look at our relationship, our job, our bank, our kids, and then we have a reaction, then we start taking action. The problem with that pattern is you're starting from a place of misalignment, because that reaction is a place of reaction to what it's a mix of what you have and what you don't want, those sort of things. So the real game is, can you hold yourself in alignment, almost daydreaming the reality of what you want while you're in the process of it showing up?
And I think that coupled with an extreme laser-like focus of what it is that you want helps, because I've done this myself by saying yes to everything. Let me try this, or maybe I'll do long-term rentals, maybe I'll do short-term rentals, maybe I'll do storage units. And then that focus is distracting. And then you don't take action because you don't have confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to why are you investing in real estate? What is your goal? And aligning your mindset with that goal, that reason, that why is just sort of like bumpers in a bowling alley. It keeps you focused, and you can't throw gutter balls because you know exactly why you're on this path and you just want to stay on this path.
Yeah. And if we look a little bit deeper to that laser focus is coming from a frame of certainty. So there's certainty, right? So there's certainty there. That certainty is holding alignment. Now, if you have laser focus of I'm going to be a multifamily investor in Austin, Texas, that's great. If you don't know what it is, you can still have that certainty by being non-specific. I am absolutely going to create success. I am going to quit my W-2 job. It's going to be amazing. I just don't know how, because that's still certainty. And that certainty at the frame level is how you generate the elevated mindset and start thinking new thoughts.
So if someone listening to this right now, what's a quick sort of exercise that they can do to maybe check in with themselves to make sure they have the correct alignment?
Well, I would say, where do they believe it, right? And have they made a decision to it? So if your target is to invest in real estate, or if your target is to generate passive income, or your target is to quit your day job, then make a decision. Hey, I'm going to quit my day job. I'm going to generate investment money. I'm going to generate $5,000 a month in passive income in the next year, because I'm not going to stop until I do. Literally, that decision is the most powerful thing that they can do right now.
I like that. That's a big difference between, hey, I think I want to invest in real estate. They're like trying to convince themselves to, I'm going to invest in real estate.
Yeah, because nothing happens until you decide.
And if you can dig a little bit deeper, I'm going to invest in this type of property in this city. And then you're adding those building blocks of focus and alignment.
And I find it's easier especially when you're newer, right? Like I want to do real estate. I don't know which avenue. I don't know where. I find in those situations, it's much better to be non-specific. I am going to make money from real estate or something else. I'm going to take advantage of opportunities. They're coming my way and I'm going to find them. Because then we're more open because sometimes we hear a friend did it through STRs. So I'm going to look at STRs, but life has got you lined up for flips. Then you're not going to find the deals, right?
Love it. And I am going to get you to your destination safely because I don't really trust Ruth too much. We've arrived here at your house, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. How can people learn more about what you do and Jason Drees Coaching?
Well, the best way to find me is you can go to jasondreescoaching.com, or you can actually do a free Monday mindset call every single week at 10 a.m. Central. So if you go to mondaymindsetreset.com, you get the invitation for my free 20-minute alignment call.
I've done it before, guys. It's great. It's good to just check in with yourself and believe in yourself. There's nothing, you should love yourself. I think it all kind of comes in together. Like, you can achieve whatever you want. So I love the message that you preach. Thank you, Jason, for joining us today.
Thanks for the ride, Alan, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy. See ya.
All right. Jason always gets me motivated. His Jedi mind tricks work. And they're not tricks. It's not like maybe they are. Like, I don't mind tricking myself if I get better results.
I am a huge, huge fan of mindset. I love that he said, whatever you believe, you are right. So if you believe that you can do this, you can hop on with both feet and invest, you are right. But if you think, nah, that's not something I can do, then you're right. I love telling people, remember Wizard of Oz, Dorothy? She had the power all along. You don't know that until you really start learning, listen to podcasts like this, listening to Jason. You have the power. You just have to tap into it. You have to think it. You have to believe it. I'm actually going to sign up for his Monday calls. Those sound like a lot of fun. Like, that's a great way to start your week.
It's only 15 minutes. It's not a big commitment at all. When I look back at things that I've accomplished, I really went in with complete naivety. How do you say that word? Naivete.
This is where the thesaurus comes in.
Yeah.
Handy.
I'll say this. When I look back at some of the things I've accomplished, I was a person that was so naive and ignorant that I shouldn't have thought that I could accomplish that. And I did, because I didn't know any better. So now I'm wise enough to be like, there's no way I should be doing that. So I do have to use these realignment techniques to kind of keep me pushing forward and doing things that honestly I probably shouldn't be able to pull off and do, but I have to convince myself one way or another in order to make it happen.
Well, that's what I love too, because it's like, you can't say, who told me I wasn't able to do this, that I can't learn how to do this. It's all about learning, preparing yourself, educating yourself, and you can do it. And another thing he said, success will not happen if you don't believe it. So just start with that one belief, and there you go. You got it. Is that the phone ringing?
We're getting interrupted. The phone's ringing. That means it's time for the last segment of the day, Ring Ruth's Rotary, where we get a question on our hotline here in the back of the car. Let's check it out what it is. Crystal, you want to answer that?
Sure. Hello, caller. You're on the Stacking Deeds show.
Hi, thank you. My name is Rachel, and I saw this video on TikTok of a new build home sliding off the side of a cliff. I know that some things can't be controlled, but how can I be sure I'm not going to have a house that will be destroyed by Mother Nature?
Ooh, Mother Nature. Okay, text us at 555-555-HOUSE and send us that TikTok, all right? That was fast. Oh, I see the TikTok here. Oh gosh. We'll describe to you what's happening. So there's a huge house. It's a big white house. It's like 2 stories. How many? It's like, what do you say, about 5,000 square feet, Alan?
Yeah, it's
huge.
It's an expensive, nice, newer construction home.
And in 3, 2, 1, you can see the whole second floor. It just falls backwards. Then the rest of the house just starts falling backwards. This is like happening in the middle of the night. So I would say that's a natural disaster. Like, how on earth would you even prepare for something like that?
This is everyone's worst nightmare encapsulated in a TikTok. The soil underneath the home is compromising and it's collapsed upon itself. But that is what home insurance is for. And rental insurance and all insurance, right? You can protect your biggest assets. And that's another reason why I'm very, very pro. I'm a real estate maximalist when it comes to real estate investing, because I can't buy insurance for my stocks. I can't buy insurance for cryptocurrency or whatever security bonds that I'm investing in, but you can for real estate to protect you from these worst case scenarios. And not only that, it's not 100% of my money. It's typically 20% of my money and 80% of the bank's money. I'm buying an asset. It's not all my money. I can insure it in case things do fall apart. This happens. I don't lose sleep over it because I know that's why I'm paying an insurance company each month.
I never looked at it that way. You're only putting 20% of your money to leverage for a house, first of all. Second of all, you can buy insurance on the entire value of that home. But when you're buying stocks, crypto, not to say, don't diversify, but just remember that 100% of that money is at risk and you can't buy insurance on that. When you're searching for homes, you're looking for, okay, is this in a flood zone? Is this in a tornado zone? Or is this in a hurricane zone? There are ways to protect yourself. There may be insurance, but then you bring that into your budget too. Like, how much is that insurance? Maybe a property is super cheap because it's in one of those zones, and maybe people just won't insure it. So you're taking a risk. That takes us back to the fundamentals, to the spreadsheet, right? That Corey mentioned in one of the first episodes. Take pencil to paper and write it all out. Plan for the scenarios, know from A to Z what everything is going to cost before you hit the buy button.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me, what insurance should I get? I usually say get the cheapest one. Your mortgage company makes you have certain requirements on insurance. I typically get the cheaper one, the bare minimum that my lender makes me get. If you want that added peace of mind, you can get insurance. You can even get landlord insurance where it'll cover you if you don't have rental tenants. You can get all this insurance, but to me, these are rare cases, 1 in a million. I don't like to over insure and plan for the worst. I like to plan for the best, but hedge that most of my risk is covered in insurance if catastrophe like this happens.
Got it. So if you have a question for Alan and I to answer, just like we did for Rachel, head over to stackingdeeds.net/voicemail. Leave us a message, and then we will answer your question on the show. Thanks again, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. And yeah, you can also leave a TikTok, apparently. So that's what's great about our voicemail. So whatever works for you, we're happy to talk about it and break it down.
I believe that's a wrap. This was an awesome show today. My biggest takeaway was about the mindset. I'm a huge mindset. I love to daydream about my yacht that I'm going to have and my big McMansion, or maybe it'll be a small mansion because I'm in love with studio life. But I really loved listening to Jason Drees talk about mindset. We need to really slow down and just think and plan and daydream. I love daydreaming.
Yeah, I'm daydreaming that Ruth will pull into a 7-Eleven and get us some free Slurpees right now. We'll see if that pays off. I really enjoyed the summer breakdown because that's a very popular question as well. Just know that more competition, more supply. It's all, honestly, don't wait. It is my universal advice. Buy when the time's right. Always now is the time to buy, because if it cash flows, you can just wait out the bad parts and capitalize on the good parts. That's my summer plans, at least. Thank you for tuning in. If you want a recap of today's show, go to stackingdeeds.net/show notes. Doug, why don't you tell the audience what we should have learned today?
So, what should we have learned today? First, take some advice from our guest, Jason Drees. The hardest thing is believing in your own success. Master this, and everything else will fall into place. Second, take it from our headlines. There are seasonal swings in summer, as that's when families are most likely to move to match school schedules. Find a way to take advantage of this hot seasonal market, knowing that this is when buyer competition really heats up. But the big lesson? Slurpee trivia also freezes your brain. That's what I'm here for. Thanks to success coach Jason Drees of Jason Drees Coaching for joining us today. And as always, give condo queen Crystal Hammond and real estate maximalist Alan Corey a follow online at Condo Crystal and at Real Estate Maxi. See you next week on Stacking Deeds.